So, as part of the rebrand, any short form video that I make, I'm going to make a long form video to go along with that. And this is the first one, I guess, of those long form videos. So, today's topic was the whole fighting that's going on in reform, and people saying that reform MPs now are basically acting like school children in a schoolyard, just going at each other, attacking each other, just acting like children, really. And I can't say they're wrong, that it's absolutely right. But my issue that I take with this is that I'm seeing more and more people now that are saying, I'm considering, or I have gone back to Conservative and I'll be voting Conservative. Now, I'd like to go into why I think this is a problem. And the reason is, I'm going to try and make this video like 15 minutes just to have a little bit of a run and just to put my perspective forward on this. So for the people that are saying I'm going to go back to Conservative, and I've seen a couple of people saying they're going to go back to Labour, and the reason I think this is a terrible, terrible idea is for one reason. Labour and Conservative both proved they're not patriotic, they're not for English people. They proved this. They're willing to cover up their mistakes. They're willing to go against what's best for the nation, and profit themselves at the expense of people in England. And they proved this without a doubt with one thing they did, and that is the grooming gangs, the rape gangs. Both Labour and conservatives were complicit in that scandal. Both of them covered up. Both of them acted in such a way that it's just disgusting and it's unforgivable. And if they do continue to receive votes and to get into power, then I truly believe that Britain is over, because covering up for grooming gangs, having grooming gangs, is not British. This is not a British thing. Before Pakistani Muslim men arrived on English soil, it was never a thing. You never had grooming gangs, or let's call it what it is, rape gangs. You never had those in England. Sure, you had like incest and people got raped and things like that. Absolutely, that's always been a thing throughout history in any country, everywhere throughout the world. But specifically, gangs that target young girls of another race, that has never been known on British soil before the Pakistani Muslim grooming gangs got here. And to cover up for that, for people that that don't belong here in the first place, really, because of their belief systems, it goes completely against what the British values are. They shouldn't be here for that reason. And Conservatives and Labour were willing to say, okay, we'll overlook this community to benefit the other community. And like I said, for that reason alone, they should never be allowed back into power. I mean, if we were being completely fair, everyone in the Conservatives and Labour Party that were complicit should be arrested and thrown into prison if they are proven to have been complicit in the grooming gang scandal. That's just a fact. But when you get PMQs and things like that, neither Conservatives nor Labour can call each other out on that, because they're both guilty of it. And so this is why you need another party to be one of the mainstream parties. At the moment, that's looking like Labour, and has done for a few months now. And this is why you need another party involved, so that they can get up there without guilt and say, right, Prime Minister, why were you complicit in, why was your party complicit in, and go from there. because they've got no skin in the game. They're not a guilty party. They can call the guilty parties out on it. And that is why we need a new party in power. So if you ask me, stop voting Reform, stop voting, stop voting Labour, stop voting Conservatives. They are both one in the same. They're both guilty. They're both not for British people. They've both proven this time and time again. So where does that leave us? Well, at the moment, most likely is to be Reform UK. And regardless of what is happening there, regardless of whether you believe Nigel Farage or not, I would still say, if you're unsure, vote for Reform, because because they are the closest we have to get Labour and Conservatives out. We just want Labour and Conservatives to not exist anymore. And one of the things that we don't want, we absolutely do not want any of the Conservatives leaving the Conservatives and then joining Reform, because you're just taking in more guilty people from the Conservatives and giving them a new lease of life. We don't want that. So if anyone from Reform watches this, doubt it, but might do, stop doing that. Stop letting guilty people and guilty parties into your party to give them a new lease of life. They don't deserve it. They're not welcome. Absolutely not. We don't want this. So another option, if you're not keen on Reform, Green Party. However, just know that with the Green Party, refugees are welcome. They are very, very, very woke, and they are all about the genocide in Gaza and things like that. So if you do vote for the Green Party, just realise you are voting for a very, very left party that will again destroy the country. Put it this way, I would rather have the Green Party, who are very, very left, I'd rather have them in power than Conservatives or Labour, because at the minute, at least Green Party aren't guilty of being nonces, okay? The only thing with that would be I would then leave the country. If the Green Party got into power, I would leave the country, because that is going full hog, letting all the immigrants in, illegal immigrants and things in. Obviously at that point, crime has already gone up and everything, but at that point, once it's actually made properly legal for these people to come across, at that point, the country's finished. Crime will just go up, theft will go up, everything will go to shit. Another party that is a strong option, in my opinion, and that is the exact opposite of the Green Party, and that is UKIP. UKIP is under new leader, it's under new management with Nick Tinconi. Now, if you've not before, I would strongly advise you look up a interview with Nick Tinconi that was done with Liam Tufts, I believe his name is. Look that up on YouTube and just listen to what Nick Tinconi says. He's very much what, in my opinion anyway, he's very much what the British people want. They want to stop immigration. They want to reinstate Christianity and the values of Christianity that we've had throughout history in Britain. He's very much for teaching British history in schools, all those things that make us British. Nick Tinconi stands for, and I have to say, throughout my life, I've never resonated with a political leader. I've never understood them more and actually trusted them more, so to speak, than Nick Tinconi. Even more than Nigel Farage, who I've always felt was happy to get to the finish line, but never cross it. In my opinion, Nigel Farage, he's always been happy to um, be that front man of the centre right party or right wing party, and never actually become prime minister. He, why would he at this point? He earns an amazing amount of money doing GB News, being an MP, and the few various other things that he does. So why would he want to be PM? I'm sure he's perfectly comfortable with where he is currently, and that's fine. That's fair enough. The only thing with that is obviously you're leading people on in Britain and not actually having any intention of actually going through with what you're preaching and talking about to the British public. So in my opinion, Nigel, I don't think will ever be Prime Minister, not because he'll never get voted into power, but more because he doesn't want to be Prime Minister. Again, why would he? So Nick Tinconi, for me, is the true option of the people of Britain. And I think it now is the time to get on board with UKIP and get Nick Tinconi to a point where he can have a few other MPs that are hanging around him and supporting his message and putting it forward to different places throughout England. Get him that platform that he deserves. In all honesty, he, again, watched that Liam Tufts interview. He really articulates and puts forward some fantastic points, and he doesn't dodge any questions at all. He really goes for it. So, in my opinion, those are your options. Labour should never get into power again. They are, look what's happening now in England. You're losing free speech. We could go on forever about label controversies. So, no, in my opinion, they should never get into power again. Conservatives, again, they are basically Labour but slower. They haven't really done anything for the last 14 years that they were in power. You can't really. They had 14 years in power, and you can't really pick out anything that they were particularly strong at. They didn't build houses. They didn't support infrastructures. They've slowly let town centres and things like that, different parts of the UK go to shit. And there's nothing you can really pick out about them that's particularly good. They were just okay on every level. They just really let the waters settle and let the country be as it is. But they were complicit in the grooming gang scandal, so that, in my opinion, is why those two parties should never get into power. Green Party, I believe, if they do get into power, don't get me wrong, the Green Party, I would prefer them over Labour and Conservatives. But the Green Party, be aware, very left. They will eventually become a Muslim party and enforce Sharia law. Although they don't realise that, I know, because they don't believe in anything like that, but they will do. For anyone that knows what Islam is about, they will basically become an Islamic party, and Britain would become Islamic too. So in my opinion, although I'd prefer them over Labour and Conservatives, if they get into power, fair enough, it's a fresh start for the country, but it will become an Islamic country, and I would just leave the country at that point. That would be it for me. I would just go. Yeah, that'd be it. Reform, in my opinion, are going to be a party that are going to consistently get to that finish line. They're going to get to the point where they could be the next party. And then I think every time they're just going to do something that's going to just pull them back again, and they're just going to keep going in between, the start line and the finish line. I don't think they're ever going to cross that boundary and actually become a political power or a political movement that's actually going to have a big difference within politics in England. Again, purely because I don't think they actually want to, particularly Nigel Farage, very comfortable where he is. I don't see why he would want to be PM. Why would he want to take on that responsibility when he's fine as he is, just sitting on the sideline, criticising other people and doing that. UKIP, that is the last possible option. That is the last party that's worth paying attention to. And in my opinion, they are the way to go. And now is the time to get on board with them, because they need that momentum to get up to a point that they are a legitimate threat to Labour and Conservatives in the 2029 elections. And that, in my opinion, is what needs to happen. But as I always say, please do share your opinions. I always do enjoy reading or seeing videos of different people's opinions. Even if you're left, even if you hate anything I say, it's absolutely fine. I'm more than happy to hear your opinion. That is what free speech is all about. So go ahead, tell me I'm an arsehole if you'd like. It's absolutely fine. It's good. That's what free speech is. Enjoy it. Okay, I think I'll end the video there and just say, yes, those, in my opinion, three options: fuck Labour, fuck Conservative. Your three options for the future, in my opinion, should be Green Party, Reform, or UKIP. That's it. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. It looks very, very lovely and sunny out there. I'm sure it's a little bit deceiving. It'll probably be a little bit colder than it looks. But nonetheless, have a good day. Cheers, everyone. Bye.